Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Sonnenberg, Coach Sonic to many. I'm a grade 6 science teacher in Grosse Pointe, and I have a confession to make. It is something I admitted to my fellow Galileans about a month ago about leadership, and that is that I had a very childlike view of leadership, almost simplistic. For most of my life, I thought leadership was just about being in charge. The principal, the coach, the boss, the guy holding the clipboard pretending he knows what he's doing. And after nearly 30 years in education and coaching, I was pretty sure I understood what leadership was all about. And then came Galileo and threw all of that out the window. You see, I thought leadership was about having answers, being strong, being organized, the one people looked to. But Galileo forced me to confront something very uncomfortable, that if I don't understand myself, eventually my leadership is going to hit a ceiling. I started realizing that it wasn't just about what I did, it was about how people experienced me. I mean, I can be passionate, but that can be a problem. I can be overpowering. I can be a lot. I can be loud. Just ask my wife. I learned to value excellence, absolutely. But that can unintentionally cause pressure. That especially comes true in coaching. I learned that good intentions does not always mean a good impact. You know, I had a experience recently, and it was one that truly defined for me what the past 2 years have been. You see, here's the thing. I was burnt out. I didn't want to be in the classroom anymore. I remember at the very beginning of Galileo telling people that just not feeling it. And I sit here before you now completely rejuvenated. And it has to do with leadership, because whether you like it or not, if you're a teacher, if you're a coach, you're a leader. Now, we can have conversations about going in administration and all that, or if you want to be a principal, but I'm just talking about right now what my responsibility is for these kids that are around me. We have opportunities, unique opportunities, constant opportunities to affect kids. Young man, taught him in 7th grade, taught him in 8th grade, coached him for 4 years of cross country. He became a captain, 3 years of track, into his 4th year now of track and field with me, a captain again, leading point scorer on the team. My favorite. We're not supposed to have them, but I can't even begin to tell you how important Tristan has been in my life. Just a great kid. And here he is at the regional championship this past Friday. He's in 4 events. He's got a shot for states in all 4, which is the pinnacle in our sport. Got to get to states. Want to win the regional championship, but you get to states, that's going to help us. His best event, 110 high hurdles. I'm 100 yards away. I'm watching from a distance. He gets to the starting blocks. Gun goes up. Runner set. He false starts. Now, in track and field, you false start, that's it. There's no do-over. You're out. And I just remember just feeling so deflated. And what's interesting is that a year ago, I would have probably felt more deflated for myself. Because, the team might not win. First, I immediately went, oh my God, Tristan. I had to wait for the race to end because I had another athlete in that same heat. Race finishes, I make a beeline for the start, and I go over, and I find 4 people huddled around Tristan, and he is inconsolable. I immediately, first of all, I'm his head coach. I'm Coach Sonic to him. He and I go back. There's this window of time. I talk to my students about this all the time. There's this window. Who are you going to be? In that window, you have 10 seconds, you have 20 seconds, you have 60 seconds. Who am I going to be for that young man right now? So I immediately went over to him. I kind of sent everybody away, and I picked him up, and we went for a walk. I used the word inconsolable. That's an understatement. I could not understand a word he said. He was sobbing, and we're talking 6'3", 18-year-old, top athlete in the state. And I realized in that moment that I needed to be somebody for him. I needed to be a leader for him. I needed to help him feel what he needed to feel. I needed to help him put perspective to what was going on. I needed to help him rise up for his teammates because he was in 2 more relays. They're counting on him. I needed him to get himself under control and to be kind to himself. And I was the one in that moment because I was his head coach, nobody else. It was my responsibility. And so I did that. I did my very best to show up for him, but I was so intentional about my words, about my body language, about my presence around him. Now, I could tell you that, he ended up running the 4x2 and they won and qualified for states. I could tell you that despite all odds, and I was convinced it was going to be a disaster, he ran the 300 low hurdles and he almost broke the school record and blew out the competition by almost a minute, and he's ranked in the top 15 in the state. I could tell you that he was the lead leg in the 4x4 that also qualified for states. That all happened after. But that wasn't me. That was just me helping him make one step. Because that's what that leader needs to do. Make that one step. Inspire that person. Who are you going to be for them? What I heard from his dad was the program, the teammates, the coaches, the way they circled around him, the way they helped him, the way they were there for him. That's a program that I'm in charge of. That's leadership. And again, not about what's in charge. And we forget, we think it's this moment to moment, barking out orders. No. Who am I to these people around me? There were so many things that happened over the last 2 years in Galileo and so many relationships I built, and I can't even begin to tell you how close I have gotten with people, specifically from Grosse Pointe. They've become my best friends. And we've learned from each other. We've learned about ourselves. And it's inspired me to be a better professional, be a better man, be a better father, be a better educator. And I'm so lucky that I'm in the position I'm in, and I'm so lucky that Galileo gave me that opportunity. I thought leadership was about being in charge, but after Galileo, I no longer think it's about controlling people. It's about understanding myself deeply enough to help others grow. And maybe the most important thing I learned is this. It's not a title. It's a daily decision about the kind of environment that I want to create. And intentionality.